and welcome back to the suggestion series. Today I wanted to talk about one of the most important aspects of suggesting on Backpack, called a mini suggestion, or mini for short. When an unusual item sells for other items instead of supply crate keys, the items must have accurate prices before the unusual item is suggested. This is to ensure that all unusuals have accurate prices, regardless of whether items are sold for keys or other items. To clarify terms used in this video, I'll start out with a few definitions here. Mini suggestions are suggestions used to provide an accurate price for items when an unusual hat does not sell for pure keys. A mini train is a term that is used when an item sells for another item, which in turn sells for another item, etc. Many of the items in the chain of sales may require their own mini suggestions. A micro suggestion is a term that's used when a mini suggestion requires another mini suggestion. Keep these terms in mind when watching the rest of the video. Mini suggestions are identical to normal suggestions in practice. For instance, if an unusual item sells for two other items, the suggestions for the smaller items will not look different than the average suggestion. However, they are needed as evidence to show that the suggestion for the unusual item is accurate. Mini suggestions are done only if an item needs one. For instance, if an item sells for another item with a suggested price of 25 keys, this item will only need a mini suggestion if the price of 25 keys is more than 3 months old. Any suggestion after 3 months is considered outdated by Backpack standards and requires updated. Mini suggestions are also not needed for most low-tier non-unusual items. If you're iffy about using a price for a non-unusual high-tier item, ask in the Backpack Discord. I'll take the time now to show an example of a mini suggestion and how it applies to the main suggestion. The Sergeant Drill hat here recently sold for a Arcana Rebel Rouser, an Arcana Lucky Shot, and 350 keys pure. But in order to price the drill hat, the other two hats involved in the trade must be updated in order to maintain accurate prices for all three items. The Lucky Shot only has one recent sale, which happened yesterday, and this compare link gets sold for 265 keys, so we can take that value and create a suggestion for it in order to use it for the drill hat. When using the mini suggestion and the main suggestion, it's good to insert it as a link so mods can immediately visit the supporting evidence. Unfortunately, the Rebel Rouser has no recent sales. Under normal circumstances, this would mean that the drill hat cannot be priced. However, due to how the Rebel Rouser is only around 20% of the trade's value, using an outdated price is okay. However, this should only be approved when the hat has no possible recent sales to use. After having an accurate value for one of the hats, I can add the three values of 265, 185, and 350 for a grand total of 800 and suggest the hat at that price. A good example of a mini train would be the suggestion done a few months ago. Normal mini trains are not this time consuming. From my experience, most only take an hour or a few to get through, but depending on how far the trade train reaches, it can take days or even weeks. In this suggestion for the green energy rotation, I went through around 40 different hats and updated 35 of them in order to give the rotation the most accurate price possible. Mini trains are somewhat rare, so if you're just a casual suggester not looking to do too many suggestions at once, try to avoid cheap first-generation all-class hats or desirable cheap unusuals, as those will tend to have many more sales than other items. Mini suggestions also depend on how many sales each item involved has. Say, for example, hat A sells for hat B in a one-for-one trade. It might seem logical at first to price hat A using sales from hat B, but if hat A has 10 more sales than hat B, then the logical solution is to use sales from hat A on hat B in order to give the hat with less evidence more data. This applies mostly to hats like the Nebula Universal Translator, which has nearly 60 sales every time a price suggestion is published for it. In this suggestion for the Nebula Universal Translator, there's a sale involving a strange Cloud9 Brotherhood of Arms, and the suggester chose to use a sale for the Brotherhood as it had less data than the many sales for the Translator. For more information on these niche situations, ask in the Backpack Discord. Thanks for watching this episode and stay tuned for more.